Cameron's attempts to bring back the long-awaited Alita sequel, together with Jon Landau and Robert Rodriguez, surely sparked a thing or two, especially after a few details have been shared on the Avatar: The Way of Water press tour around the world, which was good enough a reason for me to dig deeper and see where things stand and everything that I know so far. And without further ado, let's dive right in. Between all of the differences, there is only one thing that connects Alita: Battle Angel and Avatar: The Way of Water, and one detail is the man behind two of those projects, James Cameron. And right out of the gate, we'll tell you this: Avatar's tremendous box office success surely makes an Alita sequel more likely, simply because Alita's #1 problem when it came down of whether the movie should get a sequel or not, something that can easily be compensated with Avatar serving as some kind of leverage for the sequel, one that has yet to be confirmed. During the Avatar sequel press conferences around the world, both James Cameron and Jon Landau made numerous comments indicating that hopefully an Alita sequel will happen in the near future, especially after Robert Rodriguez and James Cameron's blood oath that happened during an interview before all this. And remember, Jon Landau will be important in the future of this video, and seeing how important he could be for the sequel, well, things have surely shifted towards the bright side. Let's say it like that. With all of the three up for it, as well as Rosa Salazar also interested to return for the role, that alone is a clear indication that the Alita universe will likely become even wider. With a sequel, or even a rumored spin-off series already in development. Prior to the release of Avatar: The Way of Water, there were comments that the first movie did not register a deep cultural impact, and that the gap between the two movies will likely be the franchise's downfall. However, seeing how things panned out, completely the other way around, and the movie becoming a huge success after the first opening weekend, well, the same thing could potentially happen with Alita as well. The first movie exceeded all the expectations at the box office, as Alita: Battle Angel managed to garner around $405 million, which compared to its budget of $170 million has been tripled. But despite the gap between what was invested and what the movie managed to get for the investment, it's still a huge number, something that is still the main reason why an Alita sequel has not been announced yet. As the momentum for Alita 2 grows, both James and Robert swore a blood oath to make the movie. And even though the project has been in development for quite a while now, the movie getting addressed by these two is more than enough for the movie to go on. The first movie proved to be a possible success story of a 20th century movie, a movie that was supposed to launch a franchise, something that has yet to happen. Recent hype could potentially lead to Alita 2 being put back on track, especially after the project was put on the shelf after Disney's acquisition. Speaking of which, the studio has yet to announce plans for Alita 2, but I think we can all agree on what I'm about to say. The studio would do the right thing and be smart with a decision like this. The aforementioned press tour could be the main reason why the three of them, James, Jon, and Robert, hit that like button just like you should if you haven't done so already. But no, in reality, the main reason why the Alita sequel picked up such a hype all of a sudden, a well-deserved one to be more precise. And it's not surprising to see top-end creative talents wanting to make the sequel, and why the push behind it all happened. There must be something there, right? There must be something, of course, outside of the big names that would work on the movie, as well as the fans that are all eager to see more of Alita in the near future. A support that saw fans marketing an Alita sequel, even through some LA billboards. The first movie's success would warrant a sequel, with the sequel itself ready to take on the big screens and become part of a universe even bigger than itself. With so many projects flying through to take part in the same universe, with some new ideas this time around. Seeing how more than 3 years have passed since the first Alita movie, and I'm saying this because Disney has been interested in making sequels and universes while I'm at that too, much like what Star Wars, Marvel, and Avatar plan to do in the near future. Only time will tell what happens with Alita, and what are the plans with Disney for the movie moving forward. And up until then, the only good thing that we all can do is hope that there are enough pros for the movie to be given the green light. Then the cons. The people at Disney will need convincing, that much is known. However, not too much, as Alita Battle Angel is certainly only one of the few manga adaptations that enjoy genuine affection from the fans. Or at least that was the case, since all of the recent projects came through, mainly on the Netflix streaming platform, which could be yet another reason as to why the sequel gets the green light, fitting in the midst of things and using all of the positives when the genre is taken into consideration. The Alita manga series is a sweeping, fully realized futuristic world of cyborgs and larger-than-life characters and settings in dystopian. The first movie's cliffhanger ending surely brings a lot of questions into the mix. For instance, what the story could be moving forward, as well as the characters that will be involved in the sequel, outside of Alita, who will be portrayed by Rosa Salazar, her father Dyson Ito, portrayed by Christoph Waltz, and the supposed villain of the sequel, Desti Nova, who you were all able to see in the ending scenes of the first movie as the ruler of the floating city called Salem, the location of the sequel, judging by how things ended in the first movie and where the story in the manga continues after what we've been able to see. As for the story side of things regarding the sequel, if it follows the manga and adapts the upcoming storyline from the comics, and if that happens, then we'll be seeing yet another motorball tournament with Alita in the spotlight, after which she gets wounded and is offered a second chance in life, but only after she smashes the subscribe button and rings that notification bell. But no, on the more serious side of things, Alita would get her life back, but only if she starts working as an agent for Nova in Salem, a proposition she accepts, and a point in the story which could potentially be the ending of the sequel, if there is a third movie planned for the franchise. The aforementioned John Landau dropped a hint about the Alita sequel, and he said that Cameron could potentially circle back to this franchise and about the sequel's release and when it might happen. And although the official big screen release for the movie has yet to come through, John's efforts with Cameron, as well as his talks with the likes of Robert Rodriguez, should be more than enough for Disney to put everything in motion, with Landau's comments serving as one of the biggest reasons for everything to start. The producer took it upon himself to mention the sequel as something he's interested in with the others, which makes it clear that he is very much invested in the project, maybe even more than ever before, and he's ready to accomplish James Cameron's plans to release the two planned sequels, Alita Fallen Angel, which could potentially be the sequel's official title moving forward, and Alita Avenging Angel, the movie that would serve as a follow-up to the previous two. The only two things left for the franchise and the people who are willing to put in the work are for them to convince Disney to put the project in development, and for some very good changes to be made to the story that will get adopted in the sequel. Because the narrative of the movie and the manga series are not quite similar, with some story changes intertwined that would certainly feel like a thorn in the eye when the story from the manga series gets adopted into the live action. See you in the next video.